Hello, welcome to Match Day. Welcome back. Thanks to those that suffered through this the earlier one today, but we made it work. So with us this afternoon, Ian Barker, my boss, obviously has joined us again, and then Shannon Murray, who is with the Portland Timbers, out from the West Coast there, and he is the assistant coach currently with the Portland Timbers. But I've known Shannon for a long time. We were both coaching educators with U.S. Soccer, and Shannon was also a state DOC for Washington Youth, and he was doing that when I was with U.S. Soccer. So, and Shannon and I taught many courses together, and he probably has the most embarrassing moment that I've ever had as an instructor. And maybe if there's time, we'll share that at the end.
I'm pretty sure that I still have that video somewhere.
Delete that video. But anyway, that was like the most embarrassing moment ever. But thank you, Shannon, for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
we're going to talk a little bit about your journey, and Coach Barker and I will just ask you questions along. And people watching, feel free to chat and ask questions too. So welcome, Shannon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Anytime I get a chance to chat with you guys and chat shop and see your mug on my video screen is a good day. So so thanks for having me. But yeah, I think one of the biggest part of my journey that I would probably start to mention is that what you talked about to start with is my role in coaching education and how it impacted me in such a positive way. We both share a colleague named Dave Chesler, and he was my youth soccer coach way back in the 80s, back north of Seattle. And he, eventually became an assistant coach at the University of Washington when I was a player there as well. And so I've been around Ches, in so many capacities over most of my life. But when he started working for U.S. Soccer and coaching education, he approached me at that point. I was coaching youth soccer in Snohomish, Washington, for a club called Snohomish United at the time. And he asked if I had ever thought about getting involved in coaching education. I sort of laughed at him a little bit, but he insisted and kept at it and got me involved. And it really was a huge catalyst for me to push me to different levels of how I looked at the game, both not only from the actual soccer, but just methods of teaching and methods of how people learn. And it's been a huge catalyst in what I do today, which has been fun.
Yeah. Wow, it's good. And then you spent a while there in Washington, obviously, and then you moved on to Portland. You've been there for how long?
This is my fifth season that we had started, and now we're on hold waiting to restart it. But yeah, this is my fifth season here.
Yeah, and we were sharing before this cast that you actually coached against Brett Jacobs, who we had on yesterday.
Yeah.
Our last match.
Yeah,
it was the last match, and then everything shut down.
Yeah, it's a good result for us. So.
Yes, I think it went that one back. But no, we want to talk a little bit about your role with the Timbers. And you're the assistant coach, which means what? So what are some of your roles that you have to do?
Well, and the way we break it down with our staff, my role is specific towards video analysis. And so, I have my normal assistant coaching roles on the field, in training sessions, running activities, assisting the head coach in activities, teaching when appropriate. During game day, my roles revolve around the same in terms of coordinating with our video analyst, who is usually upstairs, as well as making sure we're good with how we set out to approach the match as the game goes along.
Yeah, so you mentioned something real quick, if I can just pause you for a second. So you said you work with the head coach and you give information when appropriate. So how do you and your staff, how do you work that out? Because I can imagine there are a lot of coaches that they have assistants, they don't know how to utilize it, right? Yeah. So how does that work?
Yeah, I would say, it's a great question. I think, and having worked with so many different coaches over the years, that they all differ, right? Gio, as a head coach, sort of sections it out where I take care of sort of the video, the scouting for the opponent that we have coming up. So all the pre-scouting work, all the work we do in a video room, I'm the one speaking with him timing in.
Yeah.
And then when we get on the field, he'll figure out most of the tactical work he does with our sort of help. And he might say, hey, Shannon, I want you to stand with this group, or I want you to stand in this area of the field and make sure these particular players are hearing me. And then however he sections it out with particular activities, whether we've broken up the group in sort of attacking functions or defending functions, or if we're doing something more as a group, he sort of dictates when he wants to be the lone speaker on the day or the guy running activities, or if he wants us as assistant coaches to do the work. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, no matter what the level, grassroots to the pro levels, I mean, if you have more than one coach, you have to figure out everybody's role, and to keep everyone involved. So let's go to your video analysis part, because I know you from the past, and I know that you and Ches and one of our fellow colleagues, James Charette, are really into the video analysis components. And so when you watch a video of a match, what are you looking for? What trends, or what are you looking for exactly? So when you break it down, it's easy for your players.
I think there's two things that are specific that we're constantly looking at, or when I'm looking at video. So I'll start with when we're in reflection of ourselves, whether it was the Nashville game we just played, a little bit ago, or whatever game it was, right? We're always trying to use our feedback in regards to either the game plan specific to that particular match, or our game model that we've set out for the players. It would be easy in every video session to nitpick every little movement and every little decision and every little pass, or whatever it is.
Right.
But we have to be able to narrow it down so that it's a learning tool for the players. And so we constantly look towards our game model. We constantly are talking about our game model as a staff, and then we're also trying to reflect on how we wanted to approach that particular match. So
no, it's good. So you mentioned game models. Some people on this, and maybe people are watching later, what's that mean? So what's a game model mean?
It's a good question. I think
it means, but what?
And I would even say myself as an individual, my growth patterns is constantly having my own game model. Yeah, I work for the Portland Timbers, and we have one, but I'm always constantly trying to take and pull and create my own one as I go along, and it helps me learn, and it helps me continue to grow as well. But I think it's a meld of three different things for me. It's a style of play, it's principles of play, and then it's essentially in each function of play how we see sort of the I guess the foundation of that the players that allows our players to make decisions. And we will try and keep it as simple as possible for the players' sake, but our side, we maybe break it down into deeper levels, but it's those three things that we're constantly looking at in our game model.
Yeah, no, my son's a college coach, and he showed me his game model. It's very simple, right? Systems of play and principles of play, and kind of broke it down to really simplify it, right? So they can implement it at the end of the day.
Ultimately. Yeah, I'm reading a book right now written by a Navy SEAL, and it's a leadership type book. And one of the things he harps on is making those things as simple as possible for the people you're trying to relay it on, so that when things get difficult, and the games always get difficult at some point, no matter what, do they have something simple, some foundation simple that allows them to make a good decision? So
yeah, well, and if it's good enough for the SEALs, I mean, it should be good enough for our world. So no, it's good. And then Ian and I were, Ian asked you a few questions, like, for example, do you show them the whole half? How do you break it down? I mean, we got athletes and young athletes that their attention spans are getting, less and less, including me. And how do you keep them engaged?
Yeah, it's in this day and age with technology and the way some of our athletes have grown up learning, a little bit different than maybe the way you and I grew up learning. And some of them like it on their phone, some of them like it in other ways. But to answer your question specifics, no, we don't. We need to break it down and be very specific and very simple with very minimal clips, 5 minutes long, in those range. The more we do that, and the more the art becomes from us to be able to get more out of one clip or two clips, that something they can apply, the better, because their attention span, like you said, is minimal. Even these adult, professional, high-paid soccer players, they feel like they're getting paid to go play soccer, not necessarily sit in video meetings. So
right. Yeah.
It's definitely something we focus on and talk about quite a bit.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. And then you mentioned earlier about before we went on the air, that you had them on a Zoom call yesterday. And how did you do that?
Yeah, so it's a good example of your previous question. So we're trying to take these time away from each other to still continue to learn and continue to develop our game model with them, their understanding of our game model. And so we sent them each a clip the night before. We put them into groups of 3, gave them 5 minutes to go away in a breakout room in Zoom and talk with their teammates about it, come back and talk to the coaching staff about what they saw. So the whole call was very short in time and very specific towards what we wanted to get. Obviously, we had target points that we wanted to get out from them, and we tried to do it from a guided question standpoint constantly, because if we give them the answers, they won't learn. So it was very effective. I think the players appreciate it because I think they see it as a very useful tool and useful for their time. And it worked out really well. And get some interesting answers for sure.
Oh, I bet. And you just gave, hopefully Ian and I, an idea for our online learning opportunities maybe later on. That's great, right? Break them out in groups, get them talking, have them record back. That's fantastic. So, Ian, do you have any questions? Or I don't have any questions on the chat. So, but do you have any?
No. One of the observations, you were talking about the Navy SEAL book. I read the book Legacy by James Kerr, which is about the New Zealand All Blacks. And one of the things they learned was this concept of VUCA. And I can't remember all of it, but it relates to people under pressure. So volatile, uncertain, and I can't remember what the other 2 are. But what they're always trying to do is equip in this case, their soldiers, and this is what they translated the All Blacks rugby team, was how to respond to a series of challenges as yet to occur. So you simulate or you replicate in the training environment potentially what they might see on any given Saturday or Sunday in the case of athletics. But it's interesting. So a lot of your athletes, you say that your athletes have a wide range of response to the use of video. Some are really into it and others are not so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite a bit. I think, we have plenty of players who, video for them it's not their thing. They're not interested. It's not that they don't care. They're quality players and they're in the positions they are for a reason, but studying video is really not high on their priority. They just want to go play. We got others that geek out on it. We have a Diego Valeri, who a lot of people know his name, obviously, and he loves it. He'll talk all day. In fact, sometimes we have to cut him off and say, okay, we got to get ready for training. It's time to get out. And then we have everything in between the young player who hasn't quite made a stamp or hasn't quite gotten into the team yet. He's trying to do it from a learning perspective, things he can work on not only in the training atmosphere that might get him more opportunities to play minutes. And then we got everybody that's in between. So it's a challenge for sure to constantly learn how our players learn and constantly make it so that the learning atmosphere for them is very quick and efficient.
I think it's a good lesson though for coaches on the show that are not at the level of MLS, is that all of these players have different learning preferences, styles and habits. And it's difficult, obviously, at the grassroots level when you're one coach, you maybe see them twice a week or whatever it is, but trying to appreciate that some of your learners might be a little bit more audio or visual or kinesthetic, I think. And if it's the case at an MLS level, it's certainly going to be the case at the grassroots level.
Yeah, very much. And I think almost in any business atmosphere as well, right? It's just everybody's learning pathway or how they learn is different. And the more we can find ways to tap into those avenues, and it gets just that much better.
Yeah. We have a question from Ian from Bainbridge Island. You might know him. Cambridge Island. He said, is the same, the question is the same analysis used for all the Timbers youth teams?
Same analysis. Yeah, we have a game model that's all the way through. There's no doubt. And as it evolves, we work hard at making sure that all of our levels, so to speak, are in tune with it. That's evolved obviously over the 5 years that I've been here. But absolutely, to answer his question specifically, we work very hard to have the game model applied at every level. Now there's flexibility in formations and things like that, but not necessarily flexibility in the model and how we want to play.
Yeah. Do you use Huddle? What platform do you use?
We have Huddle. We have about 3 or 4 different platforms.
Prozone? Prozone?
Prozone, no. The MLS as a whole contracts with a company called Second Spectrum. So we get a lot of tools and information from them. We have another one called Metrica Sports. We have another one called losing track of all of them, but we have video platforming in our training facility that we use that's different than what we use during game day. So there's a lot of different tools that we have.
Well, we've gone over 15 minutes that I've asked of you, and
Coach, yeah,
I told you to go quick. But I mean, how wonderful is it that you because I love the Portland arena. When you walk in, there's that little neighborhood, and then boom, all of a sudden you see this really cool stadium. So every day you must, you go in there for a game, you got to pinch yourself, man, I'm here, and I just, I think it's fantastic where we've gotten to. Ian, do you have a question?
Yeah, what's the story? I want to hear the punchline story. You teased us with the story. You got to tell us.
No, I was trying to get this. Go ahead, Ian. Go ahead, Shannon. You can share it.
Oh, I mean, I think that's a story for you but we were actually here in Portland, weren't we? I think, if I remember right.
Yes, we were.
We were at the University of Portland doing a license. I can't remember which level we were doing at the time.
It was C. Yeah, it was C.
Coach was demonstrating. He was doing a very good demonstration at the time, but the demonstration required, for some reason, for him to turn around and backpedal. And as he backpedaled, his momentum sort of changed in some fashion and sort of went head over heels for a couple times. And of course, I had the video platform going at the time. So
he
that
still had
circulated to the other staff members at the event, and we were sure to make sure that it was in a presentation or two later on. So
yeah, I had a stiff one after the drink after that one, but no, yeah. So that was the most embarrassing because it wasn't just like I mean it was like timber, like no pun intended, but
there might have been 3 or 4 levels to it too.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, and he showed it to me later on. That actually, I think we were in line of Voodoo Donuts.
Yes,
you showed it to me. I'm like, I thought you deleted it, but so Shannon, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And appreciate it, and I hope that you and your family stay safe and healthy. And I know that you're an amazing dad and husband too, and your wife is lovely. I got to meet her that same week, actually, in Portland as well, if I remember right. But no, just want to say thank you so much for your time and coming on, and we're all real proud of you. And I know James and I are so proud of where you're at, and what you've achieved. So thank you.
Well, thanks for that, and thanks for having me on. Same to you guys in terms of make sure we stay safe, stay healthy. We're all in this together. We'll get through it. Soccer will get started again, and thanks for doing what you guys do. What you guys do is in my mind is so massively important, trying to get information out to as many people to learn. And I can't say enough about the work you guys do. So keep it up, all right?
Thanks for joining us, Shannon.
And then, so tomorrow, for those that are brave enough to tune in, we have a really special presenter. His name is Ben Chase. He's actually an assistant basketball coach for the West Point Academy. He's going to talk about teaching games for understanding. And I heard he's one of the best. So I'm really looking forward to that one tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, we've got the amazing Ian Mulliner coming on for our TGIF, where we try and talk about soccer, but we might go off on a tangent here and there. So thank you, Shannon. God bless. And thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.